Oh my god, I'm matching it. That's cute.
Just every interaction between them.
That's hitting a little too close to home, actually. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you're watching this, hello. I thought it could be really fun today to do a little, like, spend a couple of days with me while I read Daydream by Hannah Grace. To be perfectly honest, I'm planning on going and laying out in the sun for the rest of the day, and I was like, how can I make this feel more productive? So, bada bing, bada boom, I'm gonna read a book and vlog it while I lay out in the sun. I had Daydream delivered a couple of days ago. I think I just got it delivered from QVD, but I did get the signed version, which is very, very fun. This is the first book that I've ever received signed, or that I've paid to get signed. I don't know. This is the first signed book ever to grace my bookshelves. And there was a cute little surprise in the box as well. I didn't know I was getting this, but they sent like a little signed print as well. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this because I don't want to like put it up on my walls or like on my bookshelf or anything, but it's just a cute little thing to have, kind of setting the scene for Daydream, I guess. These vibes do make me like even more excited to pick up Daydream. But yeah, that's the go for today's video. I'm so excited to read this book. I think this is probably my most anticipated book of this year. I've heard some like not as crash hot things, and I don't adore the premise of the book. I feel like the athlete student and like bookish tutor has been done to death at this point, but if there's anyone that can revive it for me, it's gonna be Hannah Grace. And to be perfectly honest, I'm just excited to be back at Maple Hills College with the friendship group, and I'm really, really excited for Henry's group because I love that man so much. I love him so much. It's actually not a joke. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go and do a little workout, then have some lunch, and then I'm gonna put my swimmers on and I'm gonna go out the back and lay in the sun and get a little tan while I read Daydream by Hannah Grace. But yeah, I will catch up to you guys once I've started this book. I'm so excited. I feel like I'm about to sit down and read you like a picture book or something, but I'm 50 pages into Daydream. 50 pages exactly, because I did commit a cardinal sin and stop in the middle of a chapter. But so far, painfully relatable. I have awful anxiety, and I used to have quite debilitating social anxiety during my teenage years. I'm kind of being forced to work through that as I grow up because I don't have much of a choice. So being inside both Henry and Hallie's minds in this book so far, as they both sort of work through their own individual insecurities and sort of come to recognize them. Henry with his like incompetence in his ability to be a good leader, and then Hallie with her newfound loneliness. Ouch, that's all I have to say, ouch. But in regards to the actual plot of the book so far, Hallie's best friend turned boyfriend has just broken up with her, and he's taken all of their friends with him, and she's really struggling with the fact that she feels indifferent. Like, she feels this pressure to actually be upset, but she's not particularly. She's definitely noticing his absences and like realizing that she sort of has to be the instigator in conversation, and she has to be her own person, and she's sort of learning how to be her own person without him. So I think that's very interesting as well, because I'm definitely going through a similar, like, not learning how to be myself without someone else, but like just learning how to be my own individual. But Hallie not having a boyfriend anymore allows her a lot of extra free time to finally start up a romance only book club on the campus, which she's been wanting to do forever. And Henry enters the picture when Aurora from Wildfire sort of forces him to go to the bookstore with her at the same time that book club is being held, because she really wants to get him a lot of like books and guides on how to be a good leader, which is honestly the last thing that he needs. Is the last thing he wants to do is sit down and read a bunch of books. Hannah makes quite an extensive note at the beginning of Daydream where she goes on to say that Henry is not going to receive an official diagnosis in this book, despite being, and I quote, neurodivergent coded. She directly says, "When I was 20, like Henry, frustrated and upset because it felt like my brain would just not work properly and I was suffocating debilitating. At no point did anybody think it could be something more than anxiety and depression I was diagnosed with. And then she goes on to talk about how Daydream was quite difficult for her to write, quite confronting for her to write, and she talks about how she incorporates a part of herself into all of her characters, which I really like, I really appreciate, because it definitely adds to their authenticity. And to be honest, I think Henry is probably a very welcome and quite needed representation in the community of ADHD and autism. But yeah, otherwise so far really enjoying this book, really loving the characters. I'm so happy to finally be reading Henry's book, and I think him and Hallie are gonna be so good together. I'm honestly just so happy to be back with Hannah Grace, because there's something about her writing. I don't know if it's the nostalgia from Icebreaker or if it's something about her writing in particular, but it just makes me feel so like giddy and happy and just like warm and cozy. I don't know what it is, but something about it just really hits me in that niche spot, you know? The only such a small downside of Daydream so far is that we spend a lot of time in the characters' heads. I don't know if that's going to improve as the book goes on and we get to know them more, and I also don't know if it's intentional. It very much could be, and that would make sense if it was intentional. I'm not minding it. I just wish we had a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more character interaction and dialogue, but obviously as I get to know each other more, we're gonna get more of that anyway. So yeah, otherwise really enjoying it so far. It's like a week later since I filmed that first clip and I've only read 50 pages. Oh my god. I'm really honestly struggling to find motivation to read recently, but I'm gonna do a little replay of the last day that I talked to you in this vlog, and I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna lay in the sun and I'm hopefully gonna read some more of this lovely book right here. I can't see anything that I'm filming at the moment, but why is Henry literally me? He said, sometimes I struggle with conversations because human beings, especially the women in my life, naturally want to fill silences with something. Why is he me? I'm so bad at making conversation. Oh my god. I hate how relatable this is, but I also like it. You guys, we've just reached the pivotal moment. You know how my update just then I literally just said I've been struggling to find motivation to read? Henry said, I can't concentrate on a book I'm not interested in long enough to get back to the interesting stuff. I try really hard, and before I know it, I zone back in and I've been pointlessly scrolling for 20 minutes and I don't even remember picking up my cell phone. It's infuriating. Why is he me? I'm back again because I simply have to tell you how freaking cute they are and how obsessed I am with them. So Hallie, they're just talking, and Hallie was like, yeah, you know, I don't really have any friends anymore because my boyfriend kind of took them. And Henry goes, I'm your friend. And Hallie goes, you're not. And he goes, yeah, I am. And she goes, that's not how people make friends. And he says, how would you know? You don't have any. And then he goes, we're friends, Hallie. Friends do nice things for each other. I let you use my house for a book club and you bought me food. I'm not saying you should live with me or anything, but you're not friendless. And she goes, okay, we can be friends. They're so fucking cute. I can't deal. Oh my god. It's such like an innocent, like kindergarten level interaction, like, but it's just so freaking wholesome. I really do love a good one character's just leaving, the other one really wants to say something but is debating it, and then just as the other character's about to leave, they call out their name and the other character peeks their head back in and it's just like, yes, and then they say what they want to say. Oh, I love that trope so much. It gets me every time. Hallie was leaving and Henry goes, Hallie, and she just goes, yeah, and he goes, I really do like your hair. I love them so much. Just every interaction between them. I think we are sun cream. I love this book so much. In the spirit of Hallie's cat Joy, I am joined by Sneakle. I had to show you the snakes. Her name's Cheeky, but we call her Sneaky. She is purring even though she looks kind of pissed off. She doesn't really like people, so I'm really testing her boundaries right now. Oh. So Daydream has been feeling like a 5-star for the majority of the book. I'm 326 pages in. I've once again stopped in the middle of a chapter, but in my defense there's a chapter break, so it's like, it's okay. I have about 90 to 100 pages left, which I'm hopefully going to try and finish today, but the majority of this book has been feeling like a 5-star, although I will say it has kind of slowed down a little bit. Regardless though, I'm still really enjoying my time with this book and my time with the characters. The like OG friendship group from book 1 and 2 of the series are like still such a huge part of the story, and they're still very much involved. Hannah keeps feeding us with these like little morsels of cameos, and we did have a Nate cameo, and Russ and Aurora are in like every second chapter because they're really good friends with Henry and Hallie. I keep looking for crumbs about who the next book in the series is going to be about. I haven't figured it out yet, but like I'm hanging on every word and every action that like two potential love interests make towards each other. They all probably mean nothing, but I'm being delusional and like hoping for another book in the series. So one thing that I've noticed about Daydream, and it kind of connects into my concerns about the book at the beginning of this video, how I was concerned that it was going to feel kind of tropey, and like I didn't really like a lot of the student and like athlete tutor situation books. But the good thing is Daydream doesn't feel nearly as tropey as some of the other books with those same factors have. It feels like Hannah uses the tropes to set your expectations, give a very blanket statement about what the book is about, but it doesn't actually form the basis of the book, which is really, really nice, because I feel like a lot of the books recently that are coming out, I feel like they're just ticking off a checklist of tropes, of like buzzword popular tropes at the moment, but I'm not feeling that with Daydream. Yes, Henry is a hockey player. Yes, Hallie's bookish. Yes, Hallie helps Henry out with his homework a few times, and he takes her on a few like dates for experiences in return, but it all feels very natural, and the progression of their relationship still feels authentic. It doesn't feel forced at all, which is really, really good. So yeah, safe to say I'm still really, really enjoying Daydream. My thoughts about it are honestly the same. They've continued to stay the same throughout this entire video. It's just so cute, so wholesome. There's such an innocence to their relationship, which I'm really enjoying. They're not like leaping straight into the spice at page 50. Hannah, she makes you wait, let me just say that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book. It feels like a little bit of a breath of fresh air, which feels stupid to say because Icebreaker was like book talk sensation. It's kind of reminding me of why I actually like reading and why I like kind of falling in love with all these different characters. And it is still, in fact, feeling a little too relatable. There's certain things that happen or that they say or that they think, and I'm like, that's hitting a little too close to home actually. But while I have you, I do just want to step away from Daydream for 2 seconds and explain why I've been going on some little hiatuses recently. You guys probably haven't even noticed, but I try to upload once a week, and that's sort of dwindled a little bit these past couple of months. First of all, I'm so sorry for that. There's just been a lot happening, to be honest. My granny has been diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia, so my mum has basically packed up her entire life here and moved to New Zealand for as long as it takes. She's been gone for about a month at this point, and she could be gone 3 months, maybe more. So I've had to step up to a lot of responsibility recently, which, as I said earlier in this video, gaining my independence at the moment, that's why I'm being forced to do a lot of things that I don't usually do, but it's really good for me, but it's also like a little bit scary, and it's just a lot more on my plate. In addition to that, I'm also working towards graduating at the end of the year, which is horrifying. I don't want to be released out into the world. It's so scary. But hopefully once I've graduated and once I finish my final exams in November, I will have a little bit more time for YouTube and a little bit more time to read. And on top of that, I've also taken on like a second job with my university doing rendered drawings for one of their departments to like show up presentations and things, which is really, really exciting. It's definitely a lot more enjoyable than my retail job, but that again is also a little bit scary because I'm having to do consultations with people, with strangers, and I'm having to like actually, I guess, be a professional in the workplace setting, which I work retail, you know, there's only a certain level of professionalism expected. So yeah, just a lot happening at the moment. I don't want to bore you with all the details, but hopefully once I sort of like get a grapple on everything that's happening and like things sort of settle down a little bit again, I will get back to reading and filming a bit more and being a bit more creative, because let me tell you, I'm missing this creative outlet so, so much. I love just talking to the camera about my silly little books. But yeah, I'm not going to bore you anymore with my personal issues, because this, after all, is a Daydream reading vlog. I'm feeling a lot like Hallie when she was ridiculously overwhelmed with her schoolwork and her family commitments and her working life, and Henry sorted it all out for her. And all I've got to say is, where's my Henry? Can I have a Henry, please? Can he please come and fix my issues? As I said, I've got about 100 pages left. Less than 100 pages actually, maybe like 90, 95. Yeah, I really, really hope it keeps going how it's going. I do wish there was a little bit more like angst. Like, I wasn't expecting angst, but I think a little bit more angst would help. But I also don't think angst fits their story, because they're such just like a cute little easy able to communicate, really good for each other relationship. So I'm like, angst doesn't really work here. And I will probably see you once I've finished Daydream, unless anything ridiculously cute happens or there's like an incredible quote, then I'm gonna tell you about it. Hello, no, I was not lying when I said I'd been reading on the elliptical, or showed you that I'd been reading on there. Anyway, potentially minor spoilers, could just be me freaking out for no reason, but I'll put a timestamp on the screen if you want to skip this. It'll probably be like 30 seconds. Hallie feels sick, and it's like a week after they had sex for the first time. Hannah wouldn't do that to us, would she? She wouldn't do that. But it could be the third act complication. She wouldn't do that. Right? Oh, I'm so scared. I'm so scared, boo-boo. I'm so scared. She's looking at me like, I don't care. I'm so scared, sweetie. Hannah wouldn't do that to us. No. Bonjour! I have finished Daydream by Hannah Grace. I finished it yesterday morning. I wanted to sort of, well, I was procrastinating, but I also sort of wanted to take like 24 hours to try and consolidate my thoughts and actually like gather my feelings about the book, because if I look at it from a vibes only perspective, I relate to the characters so much. So this book as a whole is just like ridiculously personal, I guess. So in that regard, I'm like, is it a 5-star? But then I feel like the plot was lacking quite a bit, and I talked to Aideen about my thoughts on this book and she wasn't the biggest fan, so we were just kind of like going back and forth about it, issues about it. I think I'm gonna settle on a 4.25 star, which the fact that it had 5-star potential at the beginning is crazy. But anyway, my issues with it and my non-issues with it, my loves for it. The representation in this book is unlike anything else I've ever read. Oh my god, I'm matching it. That's cute. I feel like Daydream does a really solid job of actually accurately portraying mental health issues in ADHD and like getting overstimulated and the procrastination and like procrastinating to the point where you get angry at yourself and frustrated that you just can't make yourself do it. I relate to that very heavily. That's like day in, day out my status. I'm always frustrated at myself. And I also really related to Hallie with her loneliness and her struggle to find friends, and also being a part of like a blended family, like having step siblings. The characters as a whole were just me in a nutshell. So I really enjoyed reading it, Daydream, for that aspect. However, if I have to take a step back, I feel like the plot was quite lacking. There wasn't really a lot of plot. They were just sort of helping each other out, and usually I love all vibes, no plot, but the vibes weren't vibing as hard as some other books. Like the Icebreaker, in my opinion, is all vibes, no plot, but those are the vibes that I love, whereas this one, it felt like it tried to take a little bit more of a plot, with Henry giving Hallie experiences and things and her helping him work through his mental health moments, and also the plot of Henry learning how to be a good leader and sort of like overcoming his struggles with hockey. There was like an attempt at a plot made, but it never felt fully fleshed out, and it sort of took a backseat to the characters and their romance, which I don't have the biggest issue with. I don't really mind. Like, I love the characters, so I was okay with it, but just be aware. And another issue that I had with this book was it felt quite repetitive. Like, I loved the first 50% of it. As I said, 5-star potential, was here for the vibes through and through, but then it just sort of started feeling a little bit repetitive, and Hannah just sort of kept utilizing the same scenes over and over, which they're at college, it's a little bit hard to spice things up, but they would be at Henry's house in the lounge room with the guys, Henry's bedroom, Henry would be painting or something, then they would throw a party, and so many parties happened in this book. They would throw a party and then they'd go to Hallie's place and be with Joy, and that was sort of all the variety there was. There was a few obviously scenes here and there, but generally the setting just didn't feel very dynamic, and I'm someone who loves a good setting change, and like it just makes things feel a little bit fresh. Oh, and I also related to Hallie stupid hard on the people pleasing aspect as well, because oh my god, I'm such a people pleaser. I'm really trying not to be one, but it is what it is. I'm such a big people pleaser. But for the most part, I think if you've liked Henry and you're curious about Henry from the first 2 books in the series, you should check this book out, because if you like him, if you like his character, I think you're gonna love this book. equally, if you're a people pleaser, if you struggle with procrastination, if you've got ADHD, if you just want to feel seen and represented in a book, this right here is for you. I really enjoyed reading it. I felt so seen. That's my favorite thing about this book, I think. I also do wish, and maybe this is controversial because so many people say the opposite, I wish there was more hockey. Like, I just love the team environment with like the coach and being at the rink so much that I wish it was incorporated more, but I see a lot of people that are like, we don't care about the hockey, just give us the romance. So maybe my hopes and dreams are a little bit far-fetched there. But yeah, what else can I touch on? I could talk about the spice if you guys want. So there isn't a lot. I feel like Hannah probably received quite a bit of backlash from the amount of spice in Icebreaker, that she toned it down quite a bit because we waited a while. I won't specify, but she's a slow burner, and then we only had like a couple of pages here and there, and it was like, oh, you're gonna follow up the Uber scene with that? Come on. Yeah, otherwise I enjoyed it. I think this was a solid book. I do think I liked it more than Wildfire, but not quite as much as Icebreaker. Icebreaker is still like, I'm also not sure who the next book is going to be about. There was like crumbs dropped here and there, but nothing really solid. So I don't know, I'm very curious about who the next book's gonna be about, if there is a next book. But now I think I'm gonna go and read Collide by Bal Carver, because this has put me in the mood for this has put me in the mood for a college hockey romance, but I feel like it didn't quite meet that benchmark. So we'll see if Collide by Bal Carver can do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because I would love to have you here. My Goodreads and Instagram are always linked in the description if you want to check them out. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching once again. I really like this book and I'm excited for the next in the series, if there is a next in the series, and I hope I've somewhat convinced you guys to read it too, just because the representation in it is so good. And yeah, I'm gonna stop talking and I will see you in the next one. Bye!